The clock is ticking for TikTok.
Well, the fate of TikTok is hanging in the balance after an appeals court ruled unanimously today.
Would be banned in the U.S. next month following an appeals court move.
Today's December 6th, and as of today, there could be potential that TikTok actually gets banned in the U.S. Now, I've talked a lot in the past about TikTok could be banned. What are you going to do as a brand? I definitely have always thought about it kind of in the future, but now we are getting very, very close. Like we're talking within a month that this could actually happen. There's a few things that have to really happen to that to be finalized, but the reality is I definitely feel like we are closer and we are moving into that direction. What I want to do today and what I want to talk about is what are some things that you could do right now, but also let's take this as an opportunity to learn. First, let's talk about TikTok itself. Now, if TikTok gets banned and it doesn't end up getting sold to a US company, that means that there is all of this infrastructure that brands have, whether it's creating content and posting, all this stuff is just going to be gone. The thing is that people are just like they moved from other platforms onto TikTok. I just believe that creators and people and brands like yourself will just move on to the next platform. It's not going to necessarily impact you greatly if you've already been diversified in a lot of other channels. The brands that are going to be really affected on something like this is going to be the ones that started on TikTok, communicate mainly from TikTok, and really haven't spent a ton of time diversifying off of this platform. That is not majority of brands, so I think majority of brands are going to be okay. The thing is that a lot of brands have spent a lot of internal resources and money and just time and effort to start launching things like TikTok Shop, creators, and building out affiliate programs all through TikTok. Unfortunately, there might come a space where that ends up going away. I do think though that there's a lot of other platforms like Instagram, like YouTube, that want to get into that level of affiliates and creator economy. And I think that the efforts will be there because brands want to spend the money and they're just gonna go from TikTok to Instagram or to YouTube or other platforms, and creators will just follow where the money is. What this opens up is opportunity. This is something that I don't necessarily know where the puck is gonna go, but it's what I'm looking for. Currently, right now, TikTok has been a space of arbitrage, whether that's getting attention and views, but also being able to hit scale in terms of your reach. Is it going to just genuinely just be, okay, we're gonna go from TikTok to YouTube and Instagram? Maybe. And maybe it's just gonna go from one direction and it's just gonna be more concentration on two already established platforms. But the other part of me thinks, well, there could be other opportunities. Do we see more traffic on an app like Snapchat? Does Snapchat make a comeback in a way that we haven't seen in a really long time? Is there going to be another app that just says, we're gonna be TikTok, but American, and that could also really crush? What I'm looking at for the brands that we're working with is where are those other opportunities? It's pretty easy to be on Instagram and to be on YouTube. We're already there, and so you just put the same resources there, and maybe that's like where the first 3 months are. But I think what we should be looking for is what are the other opportunities? Where are the other platforms? Where will attention go? Because attention is same amount of level. The attention doesn't go down. It's just a matter of where it goes. Where do the eyeballs go? That's what's gonna shift. You wanna figure out what are those platforms. I think that there could be other ones outside of Instagram and YouTube. TikTok popped out of nowhere in a few years, and I think that like there's definitely going to be a hole that will need to be filled. There are plenty of opportunities for other platforms, whether they're already established or new ones, to come in and take hold of that attention that was already there on TikTok today. In the past, when I've talked about TikTok and I've talked about it being banned, a lot of what I usually am talking about is the lessons in which you can learn from this situation, which is to not be reliant on one platform. Now, this is really hard when you're first starting because you don't have the resources to go to a ton of different platforms. You kind of have to spend a little bit of your attention on one place. That's really important. Over time, as you grow as a brand, you're going to need to expand to different platforms. If you started your brand in the last few years, TikTok made the most sense. You could get the most amount of reach quickly and growth. That also posed a huge problem, which is there was always this potential that it could get banned. If you were able to grow on TikTok but never expand off of TikTok, that risk is now coming to fruition. What you should learn is that yes, you want to have focus of a platform and really go all in on a platform to find expansion and growth as a brand. But you always want to be thinking, what are some other smaller bets that I can be taking to try out other platforms? Not to distract you from the main part of your efforts, but to make sure that you're de-risking it in case something happens. And the thing is that Meta's not safe, YouTube's not safe, no platform is safe because attention and ways people consume media always changes. If that wasn't true, then newspapers would still be the same, TV would be the same. It's very clear that those things are gone in a lot of ways. And so we always have to understand that platforms always have a risk to them. And we need to make sure that you're creating smaller bets to de-risk the main efforts that you have in a platform. Now, beyond just thinking about where the attention will go, one opportunity that I think is important to think about is how can you own your audience? Now, a lot of people talk about owning your audience when it comes to emails, SMS, maybe some community and things like that. But I think when you think about how feeble these platforms are and how much risk there really is, even for something established like a Meta, it really starts to get you to think, what can I do to own my audience beyond just email and SMS and maybe a community? And this is where I think there could be some interesting plays where brands start to think about how can they create their own platforms? How can they create content that they own and that they run their distribution? That might not be a startup brand that's going to be able to do that, but I think that the brands that are going to really win and be able to win over a long period of time are going to be the ones that figure out how to own their own distribution and not only work on rented land. That I think will be the quote unquote arbitrage. If you can figure that out sooner, you might be able to help yourself de-risk a lot of this platform risk that can come from social media, being online and things like that. By the time I put out this video, things might have changed. I think that there's still more to come. TikTok might not actually be banned, but I do think it is helpful to think about these things so that you can de-risk your business for the future. If you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe it, do all those YouTube things. I appreciate it. I hope to bring you more insights and things to think about when it comes to your advertising, your marketing for consumer brands. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.